Welcome to the More Than Just Dumbbells podcast. I'm Jason Lindsay.
I'm Kitty Truex.
And we are delighted that you chose to listen to us today.
Thanks for supporting.
Whether that's in your car, your RV.
Speaking of listening to us, so
What?
do you ever listen to our podcasts after they come out?
So I do, but I do for, I want to make, I don't know, I feel like I should make it clear on why I do.
Please do.
Because, I guess, who cares? I don't care what people think. But I kind of have to. I think you should. We're only 50, 60 episodes in, and that might sound like a lot, but I think it takes a while.
For sure.
You know, I think we're going to be doing this for hopefully years, and I don't think we're going to be really good at it for years. That's how, when I say that, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think I think like anything, you get better and better and better, and
yes.
when you look, so I like to listen to see, you know, what could be improved.
I agree. I do the same thing.
And I don't have a problem, thankfully. I'm not a movie star. I never will be. But I like to think if I was, I could watch the movie.
Okay. Okay.
Because you've heard those people that
absolutely.
can't watch
they can't watch
themselves.
their own. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be watching it going nuts.
So I do the exact same thing to critique and to learn and you know what does it sound like. But I listened to maybe like three or so earlier on today, the sex and exercise and all that stuff, sleep and exercise, and there were probably 4 or 5 times where I laughed out loud.
Really?
At us.
Oh.
I think that we don't suck.
Oh, okay.
And I just wanted to say that. You know, call me vain or not, but I was laughing out loud. So I would listen to us if it wasn't us.
Well, that's good to know. So, but here's what I'll say.
And if you think so, please review and let us know.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say to that. I think maybe we're that type of personality, and it's
laugh at ourselves.
Well, no, it's unique enough that you get 2 people who I don't know. So like I was Dave Swerdlick, who we're going to have on, by the way.
Yeah, the podcast guy.
We're having him on as a guest in 2 weeks.
Fantastic.
He's I talked to him yesterday at length. He's a guy who helped us set up everything.
Yes.
And gave us some advice and sat in on the first 3 podcasts.
I remember him.
Didn't say anything, but he was there. And he thinks it's awesome. He likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the
little tidbit.
What?
The theme music.
Yeah.
We upped the game on the theme music. My husband was the producer of that.
Yeah.
So for anyone wondering about our cool theme music, my husband made it.
So you like it a lot better than the original stuff?
I do.
Which I won't take as a rip because I didn't. Well, that was Dave, but it was Dave based. He gave me 3 choices.
Didn't you tell him Blink-182?
Well,
or something like that.
When he was asking me what kind of music I like, and I go, and I remember the conversation to this degree. I'm like, I don't know, Dave. Everybody says eclectic, and I hate that. I'll listen to John Denver. My gosh, you know, I listen to Elton John a lot. But I said I like to jam out to late '90s music, like Blink and Good Charlotte and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So that's why I think we had that.
Good Charlotte. Wow.
Yeah. That's a blast.
Wow.
Are you gonna play a Good Charlotte song tonight?
No, not even close.
A Blink song?
Nope. Yeah. I am gonna play Collective Soul.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Boy, now I'm
gonna play the Gin Blossoms.
Well, they're good.
I'm gonna play Cream by Prince.
You do Hey Jealousy, right?
Hey Jealousy.
Right.
Yes.
It's got one of the best lines ever that I used to use, and you
Please
wonder why I'm single. If you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down.
There it is. All I really want is to be with you.
I was like, man, that if you're on Match.com and that's your headline, you end up like me. But anyway, I digress. So
we got a pretty cool guest today.
We got a guest today, not the only time, but I can't remember another time. I know there probably has been, who got to us just by emailing, must have listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
Emailed, what email address did he use?
podcast@powerblock.com.
And why did he use that email address?
Because it goes right to us.
Well, who's Powerblock?
Powerblock is built different. Adjustable kettlebells, adjustable dumbbells, now apparel, yoga mats and stuff too. I mean, doing the deal.
So Powerblock has been around since 1993. And
really?
Think about this. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. You've been around since at least then, right?
At least then.
Yeah. So here's how old I am. When Powerblock started, I was already out of high school. No, so they've been around since 93. Think about that. Before 93, there wasn't adjustable dumbbells.
That is crazy.
I mean,
and there's tons now.
But
none are built like Powerblock.
Well, no, they're not. And I saw something where like a competitor, this is how low they've fallen. Some of these competitors, they're They're basically doing smear campaigns, a version of it, where they called Power Block chunky and clunky or something.
Toasters?
Well, they didn't. If they'd have done that, that'd have been funny. But it was just stupid. It's like, oh, really? You think somebody's going to look at that and go, oh, yeah. It's the best adjustable dumbbell. It's built different for a reason.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's very durable.
Well, we've had a lot of guests that are like, yeah, I'll throw them down on the ground or I'll bring them to the whatever, and they are super durable.
We should be careful about saying that. So just the caveat there is, you can't throw these things around like bean bags or cornhole toss. I mean,
cornhole.
But but they're not as durable as like the dumbbell probably at the gym where you just throw.
Absolutely.
But my point is, it's still a piece of exercise equipment, and there's some really fragile ones out there that aren't made by Power Block.
That's correct.
That's a better way of saying it, is that if you buy a competitor and you kind of drop that thing from an inch off the ground, it might not work again. So.
Just throwing that down.
I'm not going to say a name. I'm not going to say they're chunky or clunky or whatever that,
We're not going to smear them.
Taking the high road.
We're just going to bust out some facts.
Taking the high road, and Dan, note that, first time for everything, right?
Yeah, I'm marking it on my calender here. That
one. High road, he said.
Oh, love it.
Good for you, Jason.
Yeah, well,
I'm proud of you.
I'm learning and growing.
Way to be a good human.
So no, but our guest is what are you most excited about our guest? I know I ask that every time, but I always like to hear the answer because you dive deeper into the guests than I do, and I think that's actually good for the podcast.
Yes.
Because, that way you don't have two people over here who are like you'll surprise them with, I know your dog's name.
Yeah, I love those. I love it when I surprise them with, they're like, I remember Joe Does Golf was like, geez, how do you know that?
It's borderline creepy stalky, but
yeah. I just like to be thorough.
I'm kidding. So what are you excited about?
I'm actually really excited about talking nutrition with this cat. He's a certified nutrition specialist. Yeah. And I don't think we've had one of those on yet. Along with a DNA-based trainer, weight management specialist. I mean, he's got a plethora of super cool things.
So if you're listening, if listeners are going to benefit.
Thanks for listening, by the way.
They're going to benefit especially, well, how are they going to benefit? If you're listening, what are you going to get out of this?
Well, we're going to ask him tons of things about, what would you give tips and tricks about adding into your nutrition? What does your routine look like? There was actually a question with the holidays coming up. It's holiday season. It's the holiday season. I want to know, what kind of food should we avoid? What can we replace them with? That kind of thing. He does a lot about mindset. He talks a lot about breath work. I want to talk about breath work as well with him. He's got a lot of great potential.
We can say this for him, but what's breath work? What does that mean? Like how to breathe different?
Sure, yes. Breathing through your nose.
Really?
Right, with intention. It's just intentional breathing.
I'm interested
breathing into your belly rather than into your diaphragm. A lot of people, I know you and I have already discussed this before, breathing into your belly helps a lot more with circulation.
I think I suck at breathing. I think I need
Seriously,
some breathing.
Yeah. I would let's ask him about it. Rock and roll.
Let's get him on.
Let's get it.
You're listening to the More Than Just Dumbbells podcast, sponsored by PowerBlock. After the show, head on over to powerblock.com and you'll find a wide range of adjustable dumbbells and resources to help you build the new you in 2022. We're PowerBlock, your resolution solution. And now, back to the show.
We're back, everybody, with Zeco.
Getting weird.
Zeco Powell, if I said the last name right.
I apologize. I totally screwed it up in the beginning.
Nobody knows that because that wasn't being recorded, but now you let on to that. So, Zeco, good to see you. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
We're doing wonderful.
Living the dream.
We are living the
Per
dream.
usual.
We're living the dream. Where are you at? What part of the country are you in?
I'm in well, to be honest, I live in Apopka, Florida.
Okay.
But when I say Apopka, nobody has a clue where that is. So I'm
Including
20
me?
minutes away from Orlando.
Orlando.
Florida.
Love it. Okay. So you're near Orlando, but that's not where you grew up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Montego Bay, Jamaica.
Ooh.
16 years.
Nice.
Awesome. Came here at 16? Came to the U.S. at 16?
Yeah, my second time. First time I came when I was 12, living in New York. Then I moved back to Jamaica, and then I moved to Alabama, of all places, when I was 16.
Really? And at what age did you move to Florida?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I know, it still hurts. I have an Alabama phone number, so I don't change it because I've had it for so long. But yeah, it hurts me every time I have to see that area code.
Not a sweet home at all.
I'm joking, of course. Yeah. Alabama is a wonderful place. I'm a big Auburn fan. Go Tigers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The so that wait. So Auburn is that Roll Tide or War Eagle? Which one is that?
War Eagle or Tigers.
Yeah,
I
War
still
Eagle.
know how we have two names somehow.
Yeah,
but,
you hate to hear Roll Tide, but so you were. Let's talk. I'm sorry. Were you in the middle? Did you
Go ahead.
No, but what was it like growing up in Jamaica? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Growing up in Jamaica, it's an interesting experience. It's very community based. And to be honest, I grew up really poor. When I say poor, I mean it was 7 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment. Mm-hmm. But being in that kind of environment, you learn to appreciate people, and you also learn to appreciate what you have, and then live with what you don't have. So, but it was really good. I mean, growing up, I was an active child. I had a lot of close friends, and it was. I have to say that if I had to go back and change if I had the opportunity to go back and change my childhood, I would never do it.
Awesome.
When you came to the United States, I have some notes here that Kitty found about you. She likes to do a deep dive.
I'm a deep diver. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
You were 16, which you confirmed, but you were 5'11", 113 pounds, and I'm guessing there was something about that because that's a pretty skinny kid, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. And then you got into fitness at 18. Is that accurate? Talk about that. That being that tall, skinny kid and at 16.
Yeah, I was skinny even for a Jamaican.
Oh, okay.
That's saying a lot. So when I first came to the U.S., of course, people here are naturally bigger. And I remember my cousin made a joke to me. She said, "What are they feeding these Hercules over here? Like, everybody's so much bigger." And but a couple years later, I really don't know if it's 18 or 19, but it's somewhere around that point, I got into fitness because I wanted to bulk up, as any skinny kid would want to, right? Look like a wire. And then over the years, I yo-yoed a lot because being young, you take advantage of it. You know what? I'm just gonna put on some muscle, gain some fat. I'll shred for the summertime. Kind of do my thing, and it became a back and forth thing. But in the beginning, for most people, they're trying to lose weight. For me, it was how can I actually put on muscle? And so I guess you would call me a hard gainer.
Got it. Yeah.
What do you feel? So with your yo-yoing, when you work with clients now, you have a massive list of awesomeness that you are, like a certified nutrition therapist, certified everything. With your yo-yoing in your young age, how does that now help you to help your clients to stay away from yo-yo?
Because it helps me to understand their mindset. I realize that a lot of us, and this is, by the way, the premise behind the Zeco Health Show, is because a lot of us have a mindset of, you know what, I'll gain some weight over the Christmas holiday time, right? And then I'll lose it getting ready for the summer. Or, I want to fit in my boy shorts, or I want to fit in my bikini or my Speedo or whatever, right? So, it's the mindset is the first thing I have to attack. I know, Kitty, you like that, didn't you? It's
the boy shorts and the Speedo. Absolutely.
Oh, it's the boy shorts. So, but it's the mindset I first have to attack because I realized that my mindset was very poor growing up as far as like when I got into fitness, because I was only thinking about the exterior. I was only thinking about what I looked. Wasn't thinking about the flexibility of my metabolism. I wasn't thinking about my gut bacteria. I wasn't thinking about the health problems of eating a bunch of crap and how it's going to affect me years later. I mean, I would go to the gym and then drive over to Wendy's and be like, you know what, I'm skinny anyway, I'll be fine. And just kept doing that.
You're not alone.
So I had to address the mindset with my clients when it comes to yo-yo dieting, because if I don't address that, they will constantly go back and forth. So then that's when I take a deep dive. My clients that I interview say that I'm the gut health guy. That's what they call me. Because that's primarily where my focus is the health of your gut, the health of your mitochondria, the bacteria that you have, how your body operates with food, what gut enzymes do you have? Because you may be on a keto diet, but don't have enough lipase to really break down fats like you should, or you may have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease where you don't need to be on a keto diet, where a lot of dietitians and nutritionists will say. So I have to address those, and knowing that I used to have that problem, being able to recognize it is really where it starts.
You mentioned
I can address it.
You mentioned your Zeco Health Show, your podcast. What kind of topics would you say that you most cover, or do you have guests on your podcast? If I had a listener that's like, hey, I want to kind of check out this guy, how would they find you, and what can they expect by listening to your podcast?
The Zeco Health Show is a bunch of awesomeness.
That's what I've heard.
That's just that, that's and they may be lying to you, but it's really, my focus is to help the everyday person. It's for the everyday person who wants to lose weight, who have no idea how to do it. Because the issue that I realize in most people is recognition. Like, we want to lose weight. Most of us want to lose weight. We want that 6-pack, want that 8-pack. Well, shoot, I want that 12-pack if I can have it.
Get it.
But most of us just don't know how to do it, so we give up, right? There's a lack of knowledge. So I have solo shows where I talk about the basics. So like my very first episode I launched last year was how to begin your weight loss journey. My next episode was on nutrition and how to set up your nutrition, how to start just from the basics without knowing your health problems, anything else, just the basics of what you need to know. Now, as time goes along, I have a large network of like nutritionists, dietitians, doctors, so on and so forth. And then I bring them on to address different issues. We talk about insulin resistance. Then some episodes we talk about gut health. We talk about the enzymes that your body may or may not have. How to recognize if you've never been diagnosed, but yet you're feeling a certain way, how to recognize that you may have certain problems. So I bring my expertise as far as the nutrition side, as far as the training side, but then I bring on experts that are even beyond me.
Nice. So
they can give you what you actually need. So you can look at it, and you may listen to an episode and say, man, I never realized that before. My energy levels is low. Maybe I need to get this checked. Like the last interview that I did, which is gonna be up in a few weeks, I recorded, it's an episode a week, and I had Michelle Rothstein on there, and she's a dietitian, and we call her the heart doctor. And we got into type of diets that people get into that impacts their heart. If you're trying to lose weight, should you be on keto? Things to recognize why you may not need to be on keto. Ways that you can actually adjust your lifestyle, your vagus tone, your vagus nerve, your parasympathetic versus your sympathetic nervous system, how all those impact. So we take complex science, I should say, and break it down so you can really understand it.
That's massive.
So Zeco, what is your education background then? Did you go to college? Do you have a degree?
I have a couple, because I realized later on in life what I really want to do. There's a story behind that. Oh, by the way, before I move on, I'll say this. Zeco Health Show is on Spotify, Google, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts.
Dig it.
Go ahead,
Cool.
Listen and subscribe. Give your boy 5 stars. But back to the regular scheduled programming. So I have a couple. I came to US first, and I spoke Spanish, not because Jamaicans speak Spanish, just because I just like Spanish. And I didn't know what to major in. I was 16, and my parents was like, well, you got to major in something. And I said, well, I don't know, Spanish. So maybe I could be a translator or something, which I was already fluent. So for me, it was like, I could sleep in classes and pass. But then after I graduated, I taught Spanish for a couple of years, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And then I moved to Florida. And after I moved to Florida, I started working at a benefits company, and I'm naturally good at math. So I went back, studied economics, graduated, and work at a brokerage company. But then how I really found what I loved was I was on 3 medications. I was on medications for my asthma and my allergies. First, I was on 1 just for my asthma. But our allergies and my asthma used to get so bad, I would leave work, and days I would have to stay in the house, stay away from the pollen and everything else. And one day I said to my doctor, look, I can't keep taking these medicines. I'm in my mid-30s. And if I keep doing this, I'm going to be on medications the rest of my life. In fact, I'm probably on 5, 6, 7, 8 in the next 5 years. But the doctor, of course, what are they going to say, right? Take your medicine. So I was like, okay, I can't do this. So I started studying gut health without any certifications or anything. I started reading and started listening to podcasts. Funny how that works out. And I started learning about the health of my gut. I started learning about lectins. I started learning about leaky gut, which of course back then was still not widely acceptable. And I'm a natural skeptic, so I'm like, I don't know about this. But when I started making the changes that from what I was reading, I started feeling better. My gut started feeling better. I actually started getting sensitive to my body. long story short, not gonna bore everybody with the whole story. It's been over 2.5 years, and this March coming up is gonna make it 3 years. Haven't renewed my medication, hadn't had any allergy problems, haven't had an asthma attack or anything. My blood pressure used to be 130, like over like 135 or more, over 85, 86. Now it's within a normal range of like under 120 to 125, under 75 for most days. I used to have bad eczema. I don't have eczema problems anymore. So when those changes started to happen, I was like, you know what? This is what people need to know, because I made changes because I started to learn. But if I didn't have access to that information, I wouldn't be able to make changes. So that's when I went back, started studying fitness, started studying nutrition, and started learning more and more so I can help others. And
congratulations on that, on 3 years, brother. That's awesome.
So that's awesome, Zeco. There's two things I want to touch on before we get to trivia, and then we can always have you back on in the future, because there's a lot of questions, a lot of things.
So many questions for you.
Yeah, and so little time. But do you think? You took some notes on this, and I think this is from Zeco. Do you think it's important for people to get sun between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m.?
I believe so, definitely. That's
and
one
why?
of the most crucial benefits. Because so I live in a 3-stage process. I look at anecdotal evidence, I look at scientific studies, and I look at ancestral living. And my humble opinion is anybody who only looks at one of those three has never worked with clients. And if they have, then it's scary, because you have to look, because you can find studies that say Honey Nut Cheerios are good for you, right? So you have to look at all three. However, it's important to get sun early in the morning because of your circadian clock. Your circadian rhythm is what wakes you up in the morning, and it sets you for the rest of the day. So when you get early morning sun and your eyes hit that sun, it's then telling you, okay, it's morning time, and it starts that clock. But the thing about what people realize is we think circadian rhythm is just for sleep. It manages oxidative stress. It manages inflammation. It manages your energy levels. It balances your hormones like your melatonin and so on and so forth. And just to add to that, because I don't want to keep this going for way too long, but getting the exposure to the red light is very important from the sun as well. That rising sun, it really helps with reducing inflammation, and that's why in mental health, and that's why now a lot of doctors and mental health experts use photobiomodulation to help their clients, which is the red light therapy, to help their clients, so because they realize that the importance of getting that exposure.
Wow. No, that's awesome. I think that makes sense. It's harder to do year-round in Minnesota than it probably is in other states, but
Florida, I'm sure it's much easier.
It is. Sun's a big deal.
Absolutely.
I want to talk then a little bit before we get to trivia about breath work.
Yes.
And I'll let Kitty take it from here.
Yes. Okay. So I've been trying to teach or tell Jason the amazing benefits of breath work, and I really wanted to ask, what are the benefits of breath work when it comes to fat loss in your expertise?
In my humble opinion, I should say that breath work helps with helps with your vagus tone. Okay, and your vagal tone is very important because it helps with that controls your autonomic nervous system. So your autonomic nervous system basically have two important branches. We have your parasympathetic and then your sympathetic. Your sympathetic is your fight or flight. Parasympathetic is your rest or digest. Mm-hmm. Now, breath work, if you're constantly in a state of stress and you don't practice proper breath work, then what happens is that it upregulates your autonomic nervous system, which would be your sympathetic nervous system. A lot of people don't realize that because we eat very fast, we move very fast. We're in a society where we're constantly stimulated.
Rushing.
So when we're, like, for example, most of us eat in a sympathetic state, which is our fight or flight. I don't know about you, but I don't fight when I eat. I don't go on guard and then have a sandwich and keep moving. So I try to eat in a rest and digest state. So that's where breath work is important. And then, not to get into the whole science behind it, but that's where that is important there. Now, there are other reasons for breath work. And that would be nitric oxide, which also, production of nitric oxide can also help with blood pressure. So it does have an impact there as well. Also, too, breathing with your diaphragm. because our bodies have 2 oxygen receptors, but it has hundreds of CO2 receptors. So by not properly using your diaphragm and nose breathing and properly practicing breath work, we can tend, which most of us do, release a lot of CO2, which our body actually needs to operate. So like now for me, when I train, even if I'm running really fast, I'm running for miles, I'm playing soccer for hours, I don't open my mouth unless I have to talk, and I even try to minimize that.
So no, this is fascinating to me.
Yes.
So one more follow-up question on that. Where would you recommend somebody start with learning breath work? Is there a book? Is there a resource? Is there Google this? I mean, what is it simple?
Yes and no. Most things are simple, to be honest. I would say to start with breath work, you don't need a specialist. Let's go to YouTube and look up a meditation and start there. Right. Learning how to be self-aware is the first step.
Dig it.
Knowing what, because then you're going to realize, I've been a shallow chest breather all my life. So that's the first step. The next step is there are really good books on the topic. To be honest, I don't work with this gentleman, but James Nestor has a book called Breathe.
Yes, I have it.
And it's a fantastic book on the topic. So I would say that would be the next step, but spend the first time learning and becoming aware, and then you start to get into actual techniques.
Did you just call me shallow? How do you know? How did you know that?
Shallow
Just
breathing.
kidding. So hey,
It's one of those things.
who
It's one of
told
those
you?
things,
So I'm as deep as a mud puddle. Hey, this is fascinating, and we're going to get you on again. But
Before we go into trivia,
we're gonna-
though, I just wanted to mention his website has
yeah.
tons of tips and tricks
Yes.
on
Good.
how to increase energy naturally, a lot of nutrition that I saw, a lot of recipes. I can't wait to try the zippy lemon vinaigrette that you have on there that you just posted. And then also the second thing, I wanted you to smile for the camera because you have $1 million smile.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to compliment you on that. So, zecohealth.com, ZECO, zecohealth.com.
boom, got it.
And for the rest of the year, I'm posting a recipe every month. It was about to show my client David that requested it. He said, I need to know what to eat the rest of the month for the holidays. And from that point on, I started posting recipes. So go and subscribe so you get your recipes.
Dig it. I
Love
sure
it.
will. Thank you, Zeco.
All right, stay tuned. We're gonna have a little contest, I guess.
I suppose you could call it that. You've been wiping
if
the
I
floor
won
with everybody.
I'm dominating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dan,
I'm
are
about
you
to
ready
get
for
fired
some
now.
trivia?
I'm ready. It's time for the Fitness Inquisition.
No one ever expects the Fitness Inquisition.
Basically, here's how it's going to work. I've got 5 questions for you, and they are fitness-related questions. And when I say fitness-related, I could mean loosely related. But we're going to go ahead with these, and the way this is going to work is your name is your buzzer. So what that means is shout out your name. First name I hear, I'm going to turn that question over to you, and you have the opportunity to answer that. If you get it right, we'll let you know. If you get it wrong, we'll embarrass you. So no pressure whatsoever. So
None.
you guys are ready?
Ready.
Ready?
All right. Zeco, you ready?
Let's rock and roll.
All right,
Dig
here
it.
we go. First question. What 3 muscles are being worked in the bench press?
Jason.
Jason?
Oh, biceps brachii, pectoralis major, and deltoid. Front deltoid.
That is correct.
Nice job, Jay.
Okay.
Wow. That was a quick. He was quick on that.
That was
Quickie.
Question number 2. On the average, how many calories are in a human pound of fat?
Jason.
Jason?
3,500.
That is correct. He's on a roll today.
kidding
This
me?
is incredible.
He is
This
killing
is
me.
dumb.
Okay.
Hey.
I think you guys talk before we get here. This is
No.
ridiculous.
The more kinesiology nutrition questions he asks, the better I
yeah.
am.
Go back to Richard Simmons,
it's-
Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 3. Now, I apologize if I pronounce this gentleman's name wrong, so please forgive me. Adolf Kettlet devised a method to assess the appropriate weight for a person of a certain height. What system did he come up
Jason.
with? Jason?
The BMI system.
Yeah.
All right, man. Could you give someone else a shot?
No, that is correct. Wow, Jason.
Didn't he win then? He's got 3 out of 5.
He's already got 3.
it's
So
over.
yeah,
It's over.
The last 2 questions are for fun.
Dundee Crocodile.
All right, I'm pretty sure Jason won't get this one, but who knows? If he does, we'll laugh at him. What exercise device was promoted by Suzanne
Jason.
Summers?
Thigh Master.
Oh, that I don't know.
You couldn't even give me a shot, man. Jeez.
I'm going for the 5.
Shot of Jameson
I'm going
is
for
what I
5
need.
in a row.
Wow.
Oh my
Sorry,
goodness.
Zeco. Welcome to the show.
All right. The final question here. Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, who terrified audiences with movies like Psycho and The Birds, considered himself an ovophobe. What is an
Kitty.
ovophobe? Kitty?
Afraid of birds. No? All right.
Good guess.
Jason.
Jason?
I think he was ovophobe would be afraid of fat people.
That is incorrect as well. Zeco, do you have a guess?
I have a guess, but it's definitely an incorrect answer. It's afraid of oboes.
I will accept the Latin version of that, which is correct. It is the fear of eggs.
Yeah, dang it.
Eggs. Oboe. That makes sense.
All right, I'll turn it back over to you guys.
Wow.
Wow.
If you're going to
Wow.
get it wrong, you might as well.
Might as well rock it. Nice job, Zeco.
Hey, that was good.
Can we get you back on sometime, brother?
Yeah,
I got
so
pages and notes
we
for
would
you.
like to. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, there they are. There's all the frickin' fracking answers.
Oh yeah, you gave me frontal deltoid anterior. Thank you. That was close enough.
Zeco, we'd love to have you back
Yeah,
on
hey,
sometime.
appreciate your time. We'll get
There
you
he
back on. We want to talk more about, well, gosh, a lot of stuff. I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely.
But one more time. How do we find you on the podcast?
It's on Spotify, Google, Amazon, or Apple Podcasts. It's the Zeco Health Show. Zeco is Zeco.
Awesome.
Zeco Health is one word.
ZecoHealth.com.
You're awesome, man.
There you go.
You're doing it. We
Thanks for
love
your
it.
time.
Appreciate everything you do for everybody. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your expertise,
Catch
brother.
you soon. Thank you. Bye.
So that that's definitely a podcast that I'm gonna have to check out.
Absolutely.
I mean,
He's got over 500 5-star reviews, so it must not suck.
yeah. Speaking of that, if you want to give us a review,
5 stars would be nice.
It would be awesome. It does mean a lot.
Absolutely, it does.
Because it's
and we see every single
well,
one
it's
of
one
them.
of those things where it's momentum. So if you don't, like, we have maybe 10, 15 reviews, and
11.
but we used to early on for like the first 4 months we had 2,
Yeah, I remember.
and it's kind of an exponential. So if you help us out, and we get to 20. 30 is going to come quicker, 60 is going to come quicker,
Makes
100,
sense.
and then all that means is we don't ever stop the podcast because people are that it's going to get in front of more people, and we get more listeners, and Power Block is happy, and they keep paying our bills and all that stuff. So, yeah,
Power Block. Thanks,
of-
Power Block.
heard of them.
We're sponsored by Power Block. Check us out, powerblock.com/podcast. We also have a blog that I know Chris Proctor, he's The Joyce of Cooking. She's got recipes as well on there. And also we have a bunch of cool affiliate partners as well. You can check out. We've had most of them on our podcast if you want to go look it up.
yeah. So hey, here's from 4 out of 5 to Kitty True. Would you get 0? Did you get any? No. All right.
I'm going to punch you after
Still
we're
like you.
done. Thanks, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Support, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for being a part of the Power Block squad. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate your listens.
Got some cool guests coming up. We got what is it? Nat? What's her name? The one.
Nat Newhart.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
She's brilliant, or seems like she's got.
We got Dave the podcast guy.
And then we got the guy who helped us with the podcast. There's a two-parter there, or two big things. If you're interested or ever thought about starting a podcast, he's going to give some nice free advice on how you do that. And then he's also going to talk about some of his health issues and how he. Let's just put it this way: he was in a bike accident, and he's had some issues, and nutrition was part of it. And
Very cool.
He kind of a wake up call, and it's like a 50-year-old.
I like wake up calls.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
also, if you have a story, my story at powerblock.com, if you have any type of, awesome results or any benefits from utilizing any Power Block kettlebells or dumbbells, let us know. Send us a cool little. It can be anonymous, and it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to lose 50 pounds. You can just have confidence or really starting to dig yourself a lot more. So my story at powerblock.com would be the place to send that.
do it.
Peeps.
All right.
Have a great week, Jay.
Thanks, everybody.
See you
Peace
next
out.
time.